I'm transgender. I identify as non-binary, and I use the pronouns they, them, or he, him. Um, and I first realized I wasn't, so I was assigned female at birth as well. So I first realized that I wasn't a girl when I was about 5 years old. And I can remember it was my birthday, and in like kindergarten they were singing like happy birthday, and the teacher was like I want to sing, let's sing to the birthday girl, and I was like, can I don't want to be a girl. And then everybody was like, do you want to be a boy? And I was like, no, not really. I just like don't want to be either. And even though I didn't really have the vocabulary to describe how I was feeling, I knew that I wasn't a girl or a boy. So I pushed down my thoughts about my identity for a long time, tried to conform to being what society views as a woman, and as a young girl and growing up. And then when I was 15, I finally really came out, and that's when I left home as well. And then I pushed down my identity for a long time again because of the way my so-called friends and my family reacted. It wasn't until I was in college that I realized that I was non-binary, that I found the words to describe the feelings, and it was because I'd met another non-binary person, and I was able to. So I came out sophomore year, so I came out sophomore year of college, and fumbled my way through figuring out pronouns and figuring out the way that I like to dress, and figuring out androgyny, and then I started binding. So since I was assigned female at birth, I had breasts, and that's what caused me my biggest dysphoria, aside from my voice. My voice has also always been something that has caused me a lot of pain. It's hard to describe to somebody who's never experienced it, but it's like when I look in the mirror, I don't see who I actually am. And so I started binding my chest, which basically meant I wore a super compression bra to flatten my chest. And then I did that for 2.5 years, until I was able to save up the money to get top surgery and remove my breasts entirely. It was one of the happiest days of my life, was that surgery. And now I have a flat chest all the time, and I'm on hormones to help with change my voice and my face a little bit. And then I also got my name and gender legally changed in May of 2018.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm legally Andie, which is awesome. That I cried a little bit in the chamber with the judge, and when he said that I am now legally Andie, and I just started crying. My advice to anyone who is questioning their identity is to do some research, honestly. Figure out what your identity is, if you even want to put a label to it, because if you don't want to put a label to it, that's fine too. A lot of times I'll just say that I'm queer and just leave it at that, because having so many labels sometimes is counterproductive. But do that. Go to the LGBT center. They often have groups for people who are questioning their identities, so you'll be surrounded by other people who are also in the limbo of I don't really know what I am, but I know I'm not this, or I know I'm not that, and that's always a really good opportunity to be able to discover who you are. And then finally, just try to live your life to the fullest extent possible. If it's safe for you to be your true self, please be your true self. In some situations it's unsafe, and I understand that, and I really hope that you can get to a safe situation where you're able to do that. But just try and be as true to yourself as you can be, because I am myriads happier now than I ever thought I would ever be, because I'm allowed to be who I truly am. It's difficult for sure to come out and then be ostracized for that, because the process itself is already so terrifying, because you always expect the worst, and then when the worst actually happens, it's just very demoralizing. So the process was really I needed some time to really figure out myself still, because that was probably a bigger part of the problem, was I didn't have concrete evidence to show who I was really. I just kind of said, hey, I'm not a girl, and they were like, what does that mean? You're a girl, or I wore a suit one day, and they kind of were like, that's not what girls wear. I grew up in an area where gender roles are very prominent, so that was just a bigger piece of the puzzle as well. So finding people who supported me for who I truly was really stemmed from having very similar experiences, in the fact that finding people who are also in the LGBT community, or except for my best friend, we have very little in common. We both like country music, and that's basically the only thing that we have in common in our stories, and she supports me, and she was the furthest person that I thought would be able to use my pronouns correctly, and she does every single time without fail. So it's kind of a trial and error, and it sucks, but the world is changing, and more people are being accepting. There are also more and more people being very vocal about their hateful beliefs, but I have faith that love will conquer. So